Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to discuss with you some of the more popular and useful preferences for the food processor. Now, what I'm going to talk about first here is the workspace view. Right now, I will show you under here that I have it set up as the multi-document workspace view, which means that each record that I have open is in its own document, and I can move it around, organize it that way. An option is to use the tabbed view, which means all of the documents that I have open are accessible by their tabs. The next thing that I want to show you is the auto open reports. I like to use the calories and fats pie chart because it's an easy way to see where the fats and the calories in somebody's diet are coming from. So I chose to open those whenever I open a record. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to open Jane Doe again. And you will see that when I open this person, the calories and fats pie chart opens up as well. Let's continue. The note data string indicates in your reports or wherever you have nutrition information that there's no data for that particular nutrient. Rather than showing a 0, which would indicate that there was none of that nutrient, we show the double dashes, which show you that there is no data for that nutrient. Now down here, we can choose to flag the missing values. So when that happens, in your recipe, if some of the ingredients in your recipe are missing values, you'll be warned by this symbol. These preferences are fairly self-explanatory. This shows, how many places behind the decimal you want to show your information, your nutrient values. This shows the date format. This is what you display your units in. Round when resizing is interesting. This is if you have a recipe and you make it larger or smaller, the program will round to the nearest reasonable fraction and convert the measurements into something useful or more convenient. For example, if I have a recipe that called for half a cup and I doubled that recipe, it wouldn't show that I needed 2 1/2 cup units. It would show that I needed 1 cup. That's all the round when resizing does. The display options are self-explanatory. What unit you want your weight to be in, HACCP heading levels. This option will show or hide notes on your record. And then here you can change the notes. So I'm going to show the notes on my person, and I changed the title of one of my notes to person 1. So let me show you what that looks like. So there's person 1. I changed the title of that note here. Search limit count. This is a useful preference. We have an extensive database, as you know, and if you don't limit the search results, you can get all of the results. It will take a long time. So what we like to do is limit the amount of search results that you will get here. The default value is 400. I'm going to go ahead and put that down to 200 because I like to have a smaller number to work with. Now over here we have the food list entry columns, and that shows what columns appear on the food list entry page. Right now I show the item name of the food, the quantity, and the measure. Let me show you. So I have the item name, sample fruit salad, the quantity of 1, and the measure, serving. If I go back here to my preferences, I can select other options. I can select the total weight of the item, and perhaps I want to see the supplier and the creation date of the item. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, now we have those on the person record. I'm going to show you some report preferences as well. The one that I think is the most useful is the header. So what I like to do is put header text on my reports. For example, this is the header text in Arial Narrow 18-point bold. Let me show you what that looks like. I'll go over here to the reports. I'll open the calorie and fat pie chart. Now it doesn't show up on screen, but in the printed report. So I'm going to show you a preview of that, and that is what your header text looks like. You can also do the same thing with Reports Plus. You can enter header text in right here. The next reference that I want to show you is groups to exclude. Now, when you're searching for an item, as I said earlier, we have an extensive database. So you may not want the program to look for items that are included in the candy database or in the children's database section. Perhaps your client doesn't care about having gluten-free foods, so we don't need to search in the gluten-free options either. This helps to limit your searches quite a bit. Now, keeping groups in mind, if you select something here, any new ingredient that you create will be automatically assigned to the group that you select. Same holds true for the recipe, person, menu plan groups. We use groups for organizing purposes, and we have an excellent blog on this at that URL. If you'd like to learn more about groups, I recommend checking that out. Now, the last preferences that I want to show you is the colors preferences. Let's cancel out of this real fast. So right now we can see that the ingredients that are included in the ESHA database are colored green on the person display. You can change that to whatever color you'd like. You can have a black with white text if you want. I'm going to do that just because it's quite a bit different, so it'll be obvious that it's been changed. That's what that would look like. And you can, of course, go back into preferences and restore the defaults. You can also go here to General and reset the default preferences back to what they were when you first opened the program. Okay. And that is all I'm going to show you today. It's quite a bit of information, so you might want to review it again, or even go into the preferences dialog and become a little bit more familiar with what the changes do. You can always, again, go back to the defaults if you need to. Okay, thank you.